see what the here. Here with the your distance. But this will be the main point of the game now, rather than actually pooping on the planes. And what really happens is you are now competing against yourself to see how far you can go. Also, once we do a leaderboard and make it a more social game, I can actually do that, maybe with a larger scope of people, or just the leaderboard of the people that are actually playing the game within the app. But that adds a different level of objective or gameplay within the game. What I want to do with the actually pooping on the objects is I want the bird to then basically gain, or the player to gain points. So you get 1 point, for example, with a plane, and 5 points with a car. These are points that you can then use to potentially purchase new birds. It allows you to actually kind of personalize your own character in the way that you want. There'll be a certain number of birds. You actually start the game with one type of bird. You're going to actually progress through different types of birds. Some of them simply just for the look. Some of them might be a smaller body so that actually you're less likely to hit something. But nonetheless, that is going to be one of the main things that I'm going to try to implement, is that bird. And that's probably going to be also the most difficult. The distance isn't too bad. I'm going to add a poop count, or a poop point count, and that's very similar to this functionality over here, but I am going to have to save all this information off to the application to then retrieve it and put it back up top. Also, you're going to have to keep track of the points that you earn as a player, save those points so that you can then purchase birds later in the road, and I think the distance isn't too bad. The points aren't too bad. It's really the saving of that information, and also then being able to purchase new birds. So that's going to be the most difficult thing for me, I think, is the bird. The order I'm going to do is going to be the distance, then the points, and then the points are used to purchase the bird. So it seems like that's a logical order to actually complete these in. And how is the user ultimately going to engage, and what are these going to do for the user? Before, the game was just flying with just the purpose of pooping on the planes, which is kind of fun. It's a silly concept, but it gets old pretty quick. So I think actually adding a distance feature, and what I'm going to do is actually add different level of difficulty by adding more and more things coming from the right-hand side the farther you get into the game. And then also might limit the number of actually cars coming across, because those are the big point winners, and it's going to be hard to actually time the poop from the top to the bottom to actually hit the cars. And if you have less cars coming at any one given time, you have less potential options to get high point value of the cars driven by. But I think the points, along with the distance, two different objectives within the same game, and then you actually be able to use those points to then purchase different birds, adding a form of personal characterization within the game. So that is my plan for this week. Hopefully things do pan out pretty well. And I'm also revamping the entire game in terms of the look and feel of it. Very, very few things will remain the same. Most of it will change. So I'm very excited about that, but the overall functionality will be the same. Thanks so much.